What's up, you guys? It's been, it's been a year. So, decided that today I was going to do a recap. Um, had a very good conversation with my siblings yesterday, aka my sister. um, and figured I'd talk about it. Like, the podcast is called Truth Serum. Why not end the year off with some very uncomfortable truths, right? With that being said, first of all, let me just breathe, right? For the for those of you who don't know, um, I breathe a lot because I do not want to be crash out that I can be, right? So let's get right into it. First things first, I want to talk about um let's talk about family first, right? Family is a bit of a tricky topic. Forgive me, I'm plugging something already. Um, Family is a very tricky topic, correct? As we all know. However, my family is a bit different because it's a bit blended, it's a bit crazy, it's a bit unorthodox. So like the recap on family is like a little bit, let me go ahead and hurry up through it. I'm not gonna spend too much time here type of get up because it stresses me out sometimes. Um I'm at the stage of raising my parents, whether they want to hear it or not. Um I'm worried about them in ways that, a child in their 30s going into their 40s normally would be like, hey, you need to have your ducks in a row. You need to be doing the things you need to do. Um, and I have kids. I have kids in transition. I have a 17-year-old who wants to go to Stanford. I have a 16-year-old who's still figuring it out, which is perfectly fine. I have a 12-year-old who's kind of like, which is normal. And then I have a 6 and a 7-year-old. Um, 6, 7, I know. Whoo, listen, okay. Um, 6, 7, they're great. They're in their own little world. They're not worried about anything other than their toys. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. 12, like I said, he's kind of like getting into the groove of middle school, liking the girls, trying to teach him that school is not a playground or a social hall. It's for your education. Have balance. A healthy balance is good. Um, 16, we've had a year. We've had a year. She turned 16 in September. And yeah. Let's just say no one prepared me for the part of parenting where you would have to decide to not react to every single thing that your child does. I'm at that age now. Like, I'm at that age where I am not going to fight with you about certain things because I know better. And evidently, you just need to bump your head to find out. And I know a lot of parents aren't there yet, and that's perfectly fine. However, I am, right? And I do not have the capacity to fight with only one child when I have five, and parents that I look at sometime as like, these are my kids too. Respectfully, of course. They're very much adult, very much doing whatever they want. But again, they get old and then we have to step in, we have to do all the things. Okay, so that's kids. 17-year-old, he's 17. He haven't had any babies, he ain't been to jail. Um, I'm just grateful as a mom. Into basketball, wants to be a Stanford defense attorney. A mom probably couldn't ask for more. Mouthy from time to time, but again, that's normal teenage talk. So I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? Um, where's my mom? My mom, we're still praying. Okay. My dad, he's doing fine. He's raising his adult children now. I'm one of those adult children who call crying from time to time, like, yo, bro, why didn't you tell me about these people? Like, why didn't you tell me that these people were going to be peopling this much, right? So that's like a normalcy for me. I got siblings right up under me, 18, 19s, in the 20s, all that. Um, and I'm the oldest. So you can only imagine that I have to be like super extremely responsible. And all the time, I don't want to be responsible. I'm going to be honest. It sucks to be the one, like the responsible one, the leader of the pack. No, no. Anywho, you see me keep looking in both directions because, like I said, I don't know if y'all caught it when I started. I'm on two different live streams. I'm on my YouTube live and I'm on my TikTok live because I figured why not try to do this at one time since I'm really trying to take content creation seriously. So forgive me in advance if I don't maneuver properly because this is my first time trying to do both. Um, so that's family. My husband, he's doing good in his business. Marriage is hard. As y'all know, I'm a transparent woman. It's hard. We don't know how to be married. We're doing our best. We're raising these kids. We're trying to, follow the book of God. Um, Past that, we're okay. We're growing, we're glowing, and we're elevating and we're developing. So that's awesome. Proud of us. Kudos to us. Um, who else? My bonus mom did catch a graduation in the last couple of days. Super proud of her. She got pinned, she got her coat, she good to go. Shout out to her. Shout out to all my siblings because we're holding it down in ways that people probably don't even have any idea. Because again, we have parents, that are still here that we are wanting to see do the best things for themselves, so that when they do reach the age of majority, we're not like, get from over there, take your medicine, do this, do that, where's this, where's that, I thought you were going to write your password down, etc. So that's the recap on family. Cousins, from my understanding, they're doing fine. I had one major um, move from one cousin, the yacht cousin. I call her the yacht cousin because we love to have fun on yachts together. She moved to Houston. I haven't made it there yet. I hope to make it there for her housewarming, but I have kids and she doesn't. So it's kind of like, we got to figure that out, right? What's next? Life, work life. Got fired. Whew, let's just go ahead and get that out the way quickly. Not going to spend too much time there either, other than the fact that job security, I don't feel like there is none anymore. For those of you who don't know me, I am an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I've been working for myself for over a decade. And for the first time in, I think, 12, going on 13 years, I decided to come out of retirement to help somebody. My story is pretty basic. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I work from home, affiliate marketing, dabbled in taxes here or there. But my niche is business development, by way of like growing your company, scaling, compliance, like making sure you're safe. I tell any company I work with, any business owner I work with, hey, my job is to keep you safe, tell you no when you need to hear no, and yes when you need to hear yes, and maybe when you need to hear maybe. I decided after, being pulled out of a crowd, hey, I think you and this guy should talk. Cool. I'm on the way, right? So, long story short, I accept, right? I accept it on a very low end of like, hey, I'm gonna be on call. Straight up, I'm gonna be a little teeny consultant because I got my own stuff going on and I need to figure the things out that I have going on before I go full on for anybody else. I don't like working for people. I'm honest. I haven't really cared to work for anybody, even when I was a teenager. So, got in this place. Things were going very well. And then I was approached by one of the senior staff. And mind you, I'm a contractor, never an employee. Just my preference. There's nothing wrong with employees. I'm just don't want to be locked down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. So it's like, well, what can we do? What can we do to have you, help us out a little bit more? And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I would have to think about that. Like, I would have to really see what that looks like, because mind you, I'm already consulting and I'm realizing that they needed a lot more help than they thought. Um, Newsflash, there's a lot of people who have a lot of money who think they're doing one thing, but it turns out they're doing another. And it takes people like me who are honest, who are, integral to say, hey, sweetie, you have a wonderful idea here, but you really need to pull some things together. You get what I'm saying? Like let's manage properly so that we're not in a position of just not being safe. Let's just use that. Y'all know I like to say that word, like, gotta be safe. So, long story short, eventually I was like, hey, bottom line, like, my bare minimum number would be this. No problem. Even added money on top. Cool. Start doing more work. Then came the layers. I don't do layers well. So, I went from being like a consultant to like, can you be the director of development, which is normal when you're gonna like help somebody in the capacity that I was helping them. So from consultant to director of development, everything was going well. We're pulling the company together. We're getting all your SOP, like anything you could think of that a company needs from day one. Solid. I got them. I got them straight. That's what I do. Right. Safe. So if somebody come knocking on the door, you're not worried. You're not like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? So with that being said, eventually I got approached again. Um, at this point, I've been at the company for a year. They've scaled tremendously. Their popularity is where they needed to be as far as like, leveraging the community, making sure that people know who they are, making sure that people know that they care for the stakeholders that they're serving. That's my job. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up in the way that I'm supposed to show up every single time. It's not going to ever be different for me because that's just my standard, right? So after being approached again, it was like, yo, boom, can you be executive director? I was very apprehensive. Let's start there. I said no. Let's start there. The first three times I said no. I was like, I didn't already start moving stuff around and, putting stuff down and on the shelf. I don't know if that's a smart idea because, you know, I don't know. Just something was just like, think about it. So I said, like I always do, let me pray about it, right? Like I did every single time this happened. I was like, let me pray about it. Let me see. Had no issues, right? Cool. First red flag was I don't think that the young lady who was in the position that I was stepping into at the time really understood what was going on in her position. I feel like honestly she was taken advantage of like a lot because when you go into a position and you're taking over for someone, whether they're stepping down, stepping up, moving for whatever, you're supposed to have like we call it a transition packet. Like this is where I was, this is where I left off, this is where we're trying to go. Cool, right? No, it's not what happened. It's not what happened at all. I don't care to talk about people, so I'm gonna say that young lady was taken advantage of, and I feel sorry for her. Um, I feel sorry for her. I do because she deserved so much more than what she was getting out of the deal. You know what I'm saying? Versus what she was given. She was giving, she was giving, she was giving, but she was receiving the bare minimum. And I don't think she quite understood how much of a bare minimum she was getting until like it was too late, if that makes sense. So became the executive director, doing the work, still holding down the fort. Because again, as a contractor, 1099, I can jump from contract to contract. Here's the problem that I ran into. I did not know what or who I was dealing with, I must say. As a visionary myself who has her own 501c3, had it for over a decade. Break the cycle was something that I did for the simple fact that I did not want me and my son to go through what I went through as a child with my siblings. Hence the fact he's 17. By the time I learned how to incorporate, it had been founded for years. Just didn't know what to do properly. So, on paper, it says something, if I'm not mistaken, like, um, I think we're like 2014, one of those dates. Then we had to redo something in 2017. But like in my mind, we were in business in 2008 after I had that baby, and my feet was on the ground, and I was going in these meetings, and I was advocating for him. And by the time he was school age, we was taking on 504 plan boards and IEP meetings, and just being advocates for other children. Like, it was break the cycle been a thing. I was standing up to crazy folk in courthouses and social services. So for me, running a company, being a leader, pulling a team together, advocating comes natural. It comes natural for me. So when I step into a position and I notice that the title may be one thing, but the work is totally different, right? So when you're looking at the work that's supposed to be done on day one, we're using like the bare minimum metrics here. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. And I don't believe that it couldn't be. I just feel like, based off of my experience and my expertise as a subject matter expert, it wasn't given. Like, oftentimes in companies that have a certain amount of revenue, they have expectations that may be a little bit unrealistic. And a lot of people don't, I don't want to be rude, gotta tell you the truth. A lot of people don't be knowing what they're doing. I'm being honest. It's like, they got money, I need a job, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna just do whatever they say, not realizing doing that can get you into a world of trouble if the wrong person steps in the room. If the wrong person steps in the room and you're sitting there like, well, they told me to. No, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for the auditors. That's not going to work for the judge. That's not going to work for the jury or whoever you may have, the review board, whatever. None of that works for them. So you have to be very mindful and very careful what you allow yourself to be a part of. I do not care how much money is on the table. It should never be enough money to force you to go against your morals, your principles, your values, sorry. And most important, like, your integrity should always be able to be intact. And if not, you should use the power of choice and you should choose to get your behind up out of there. Before I could even get to a place of fully understanding what was going on behind the scenes, I would get like bits and pieces, if that makes sense. Bits and pieces. But there was some things that were questionable, like whether or not leadership was together in, capacities that they shouldn't be, whether or not they, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to insinuate anything because I have no proof of anything, but like, there were certain statements made, there were certain actions done that would cause people to think like, are y'all together? Cuz this don't this don't work in the normal corporate space. Like, people were getting their pay cut and they wasn't supposed to be getting a pay cut. People were getting fired, breach of contract. Hence the fact I'm sitting here telling you I got fired, aka somebody breached my contract. In every contract, I put a provision in there that says, you have to give me a 30-day notice, and you still have to pay me within that 30-day notice, and I will prepare the next person. You know what I'm saying? Or, like I said, that transition packet will be prepared for the person coming on. So, done rambling about the environment. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes of why. So, one day, doing my job, I had just written like 3 federal grants back to back. I'm talking about by the skin of my teeth. I made them because I was let know like a few days before. These are grants that normally we would plan for months. We would already be collecting the data. We would already be making sure that, things were in place, the proper MOUs, people had been contacted, the yes and the no's, the email chains, etc. will already be there. Unfortunately, that's not the type of person I was working with. And because I am capable, let's anchor there for a second. Just because you're capable does not mean you should. Baby, I was writing federal grants to the Department of Energy and getting them in with 1 minute to spare, and they still said yes. Although cold, not smart. Very stressful, losing sleep type of nights. Because I'm not going to sleep until I know that every T is crossed and every I is dotted. That's just my work ethic. That's my standard. If I'm the ghostwriter, which I normally am, believe it or not, for a lot of people in my area, but you'll never know because we sign NDAs and they win. Um, I ain't turning no junk, and I'm definitely not turning in no lies. So I have to make this make sense. I have to look across what we have. I have to say, okay, we do have that, we do have that. And if we don't have it, I'm normally giving you pushback and I'm like, slide that back across the table. We can't do that. So, like I said, had just written 3 grants that match up, including a human services grant for a just simple parenting program. Like, hey, we're going to teach kids in underserved communities how to stay married, how to be good parents, teach dads how to be dads, how teach moms how to be moms. Like, who can't get that? That's common sense. You know what I'm saying? I can write that with my eyes closed. I was a foster child. I know what nuclear family setting should look like. I went to all the classes, all the seminars. So it's like, oh, let's do this. And again, I'm the oldest. So I'm like, I saw everything growing up from the baby all the way up to me, to the parents, to the grandparents, aunties, uncles, cousins, etc. So those grants were nothing. Workforce development, Department of Labor, anything you can think of with my eyes closed. So we get to a point where I start to speak up and say, hey, because I write everything down. It's just, again, habit. Like, yes, all these things are digital, but always take notes for yourself. Listen, I'm gonna get to why I'm saying this in a few minutes, but write it down because it could literally cost you your entire salary if you don't, right? Or your contract in my case. So I said, hey, can we make it a rule of thumb? And mind you, I had said this before, and I give people grace, right? You're paying me. I understand. Life happens. Things are going on. Cool. Can we make it a rule of thumb to not try to put these grants in at the last minute? If somebody sends them to you, we need them as soon as they come, or we need to be CC'd on the email, or they need to know our contact information for the actual, grant solicitations, etc. That's why we have a standard company email that the people who are supposed to have access can check, but they're going directly to you personally, which is not very helpful. First problem. I guess I should have never said nothing, but I mean, come on now. I have to, right? It's not optional. I had to say something. So, from saying something, it started to be like a little, okay, D, you know. I know okay, D, because by the time people start being like, okay, D, I didn't piss them off with the truth. And that's okay. It's okay because if I love you and I care about you, I should be able to tell you the truth. I don't care what your friends and them talking about because they might not be your friend. They might be around because of how much money you got and how much you throw it around. I'm the opposite. Your money not gonna move me, especially not into nobody jail cell. So focus. Period. Right? So spoke up again. At this time, I started to feel like we are like sparring. Um back and forth through email, back and forth through text message, back and forth in meetings, to the point where it's like this man just stopped showing up. Like the founder just stopped showing up. He out of town, like, and I don't mean like out of town, out of state. He like out the country. I'm running a company. No one knows. No one knows. He's off the grid. I'm running a company. I'm not the CEO. I'm not. Understand, I'm not the CEO of this company. I'm the executive director, but I'm not the CEO. I'm not supposed to like make the final decision on things like money or whatever. So mind you, my hands are tied. In any situation, my hands are tied because the final approval had to always come from the founder and his accountant, which is normal, right? Cool. The issue that I have with that is we were never a for-profit. Lean in. That's not how a nonprofit is supposed to be ran. So here I go again, running my mouth like these are not the way the policies and procedures are read. It's just not how it's supposed to go. You have to follow this set of rules, not your set of rules in your mind, or you're out of compliance. Why I say that? So, grant time come around again. Do my thug. We got denied for the Department of Labor grant because they said that we were not in enough cities yet. Other than that, great score, great meeting, great feedback. Love the proposal. Cool. Then it turned into, well, this person said this, and this person said that, and they said we can get this, and they said we can get that. Keep in mind, I didn't already told you guys I didn't want to be the executive director. I just wanted to be the consultant because I would rather consult instead of have to be the decision maker or the pushbacker. Here's your recommendations. What you do with that is up to you. Skedaddle, right? If you hire me past that, you have to be willing to take the recommendation and execute it. But I was not in a place to get them to understand that. So here I am walking into a place where the culture is we're going to do whatever the founder says. Not Don Quita Denise, okay? I have a very hard time with that type of environment. Let's just go there, right? I have a horrible time with somebody who's like, oh, we just gonna, go along, get along. I didn't already told you. I will never ever let nobody lead me into a place that's gonna get me in big trouble. I'm not doing it. So I'm like, no. So I speak up again. Long story short, I didn't spoke up enough for these people to be like, y'all need to talk to D. Y'all need to talk to D. And everybody's like, just talk to D. Talk to D. Find D. Let D fix it. Call D. And mind you, D was just a consultant who came in 16 months ago, who was just trying to help out on an on-call basis at nothing but $2,000 a month, who got her pay upped because y'all wanted her to help more because you realized I was good at what I did. You wanted me to step up into something else. I did because it wasn't going to be a heavy load for me. By the time I became the executive director, all the shade was there. Okay. All the shade from the other people in the company because it was just like, D, 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 and more D. D don't even want to be in the limelight. D likes to play the background. I just told y'all I'm a ghostwriter, for crying out loud. So I definitely don't want to be the center of attention. She trying to show us this and she trying. No. I'm just doing my job, right? So none of this was in my plans. And I got everything I deserved. Let's start there. Because I had no business coming out of retirement without permission. I can consult you remotely, for a low fee on a monthly basis. You want to pay me every week throughout the month, whatever. That's cool. What I did was be disobedient to my own dreams, goals, and rules and regulations of my own life that I had, set up to go help somebody else with their dream. And I did a wonderful job. Fact check me, don't have to make anything up. Go look at the last bit of work I've done over the last 16 months. If you know who I am, go to my LinkedIn, look through my jobs, go look at the companies. You'll see what I mean. They're not the same when I'm not there. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I do my job and I do it well because I care about where I work, who I work with, and especially when I'm working for the community. Like, that's my passion. I'm gonna, again, do my job. By the time I looked up, I was just like, nah, this ain't gonna work. So, last conversation I had with the young lady who was the executive director before me, who left for her own personal reasons that have, nothing to do with me, whom I tried to stay very neutral with. But God convicted me. He was like, you need to talk to that girl because, although you're trying to stay neutral because you still work here and, got conflict of interest, NDAs, you like the girl. Tell her the truth. So we had a heart to heart. I told her, like, whatever her situation was, don't ever put yourself in this type of situation again. Protect yourself, is what I told her. This is where I mess myself up every time. I'm always caring about somebody. And I probably just need to just like leave it alone, leave well enough alone majority of the time. But I'm a big sister by nature. I'm a mother of 5. I have a big heart. So I'm never going to see somebody done like horrible. If I could, be a person that like help that, I'm going to help. So I'm like, yo, all you got to do is this. This is how you fix your resume up to go do that. Man, by the time I was done with this situation in October, I was like, can we please like really focus? Talk to the girl, and she was like, so what's your plans? What's your plans? I was like, honestly, I'm just waiting on, God to tell me what's my next move. I'm not going to move without having any real concrete direction. I'm not one of them people that's like all willy-nilly all over the place. That's just not my thing. So after telling her that, I received a text message. All right, it's been long enough. We need to do an infrastructure report. I told y'all now, I tell people the truth. I'm not willing to lie to you. I'm a consultant by nature. I literally come in, I find the gaps, and I show you where the gaps are. I give you recommendations, the best recommendations that I know are going to work. 9 times out of 10, you're going to fill those gaps. Your company's going to be fine. If you follow the rules, if you implement what we're trying to get you to implement, you should be fine. I turned in the 8-page infrastructure report. There was crickets. It was crickets for a while. There was like a lot of crickets, y'all. It was like you can hear a mouse piss on God. And I'm like, okay, I know how this is going to go. We didn't already start sparring. You know what I'm saying? I didn't already had to give you pushback. I know it's your company. It's your company, but you hired me to help you. So if you want me to help you, I need you to let me help you. But if you don't want help, I need you to tell me that. So one of the conversations we had, he had said something to me. He was like, listen, you really protected yourself. You really protected yourself because you got in that contract, 30 days. Okay, cool. And let me back up because a part that I want to really highlight here, and it may help somebody, is I gave the person an ability to pay me lower than what I normally am paid for this type of job, right? Because it was for community work. It's cool. Like, you pay for service and labor, but like, if it's for a good cause, I'm willing to work with you. I understand. So gave him a discount. In the giving of the discount, the way I set my contract up was it was a staggering contract that grew over time, right? Thank compound interest. So by the end of my term, I would have been making $100K a year. And if you look over the way that the contract is written, I was supposed to come out with about $300,000. I'm not mad, right? That has nothing to do with these other contracts, by the way, that he hired me for, that he signed, that we're good on. So we get square on that. First, he gave me pushback. I can't give you 100K a year right now. I would love to see you. You definitely worth it. I know I can't afford it. He don't know that the people in the background like, man, he got this, contract this, Mind you, none of that means nothing to me because these conversations are not being had with me personally. So means nothing. I'm not counting your pockets. That's on you. What's your budget? Is my question. You tell me what your budget is. I work my magic based off the budget because I'm not giving you what you can't afford. You know what I'm saying? Cool. That's nobody. Like nobody walks into a job and be like, what you gonna pay? And they be like, I'm gonna pay you half. And you think you're gonna get the whole type of work. You're crazy. It's common sense. But again, because I'm genuine, because I'm kind, I'm helping people. I'm showing them the ropes. I'm teaching them what they should be doing in their position, how to do it. Show them how to use a little bit of AI to make their systems a little bit easier. Save them some time, etc. I'm doing everything because it's just me, y'all. It's just who I am at my core. I can't help it. I'm sorry. So after that infrastructure report went in, them crickets came. You know, and then I finally got an email. It was like, hey, thanks for this. I'm gonna have questions or whatever. I knew he hadn't read it. That was like a going thing. He'll get to it when he get to it. But I'm sure once he got to it, he was like, oh, she gotta go. She gotta go. Because the infrastructure report doesn't just include my opinion. I had to go through the entire company, which I did. I had to interview every single person from the time I had got there to current. I had to look at all the turnovers. I had to look at how many people were, still here, how many people were complaining, how many people had, grievances, how many incidents had happened, how our program, like, if you know infrastructure, you understand what I'm saying. Like, I gave a real Fortune 500 company style infrastructure report because that's what I do. Hire me and you'll see. I'm gonna get you straight. I'm gonna get you straight. So I got an email and it came from not even his nonprofit, but a construction company, and it was just like, hey, due to the shutdown, we need y'all to sign this paper. And it has his signature like stamped at the bottom. Weird, right? And then it has it was just weird. So pretty much it was trying to turn us, and I say us because as a team we had a meeting like, what's going on? Is everybody okay? Like, we all got this company-wide craziness. What's up? Due to the government shutdown. So first of all, we're all contractors that do not work for a government contract. Let's start there. We're just like, something ain't right. Like, we need to have a meeting. So now we're being avoided. Literally. Like, no phone calls, no text messages, nothing. Accountant like, well, I don't know. Everybody knows. Like, if anybody ever tell you that, they're lying. I'm sorry. Like, they're lying. As a person who runs a companies and have to tell people the hard things sometimes, it's hard to say, hey, we have tried to reorganize you and put you in different spaces and it just still didn't work out. We just no longer, see us as being in alignment or whatever it is you have to say. When you get to that place, it's like, I'm sorry. We wish you the best. We will not be renewing your contract. Just like a apartment complex or a townhome, whatever, they can say, we reserve the right to not renew your lease. Like, y'all been, he pretty much could have did that, but they didn't. They were just like, y'all sign this or else. And then there was a little bit of like, well, somebody else signed it, but the somebody else that they mentioned was like a part-time person who, like, their pay wasn't going to change, so they ain't had no problem. Our pay was going to get cut drastically. And it was like, think about like the reduction in force type of thing. But mind you, we're not employees. So think like, oh, we're going to reduce you down to like 10 hours a week. You can work like 1 hour a day. No more money over a certain amount by the end of the week. And it has to be approved. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. It won't budge. And so me being me, I respond to the proper channels the way that I'm supposed to respond professionally. Hello, just letting you guys know you guys are in breach of contract. I really need you guys to look over your contract. Crickets again, right? So me being me, I waited a few days. I gave them the time that they needed, sent out all the proper, letters telling them, hey, due to the infrastructure report coming out, I feel like this is retaliatory, this is illegal. I'm trying to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. I hope that's not where we are. If we are, like, I understand, but put it in writing. It's not what I got. I waited for them not to pay me, because if you don't pay me, that's even worse. You know what I'm saying? You know what my contract says. You know what you signed. We're good, right? And for me, again, when I say write it down, don't just write it down on paper. Write it down on AI. Let your chat bot write it down for you. Get a video conference, record it, everything. So my saving grace right now is that when they hired me as the executive director, they hired me on Zoom. So I have a Zoom meeting of them hiring me. I have the transcript, everything. So of course, we have to go through the legal proceedings. Didn't want to, but that's where we landed, because I gave them the opportunity, within the time frame, to give me a severance for them being in breach of contract, because they had whatever they had going on that had absolutely nothing to do with me as the person who you signed the contract with. Mind you, the government shutdown was for 43 days, and my contract didn't have to be affected at all. But that's what they chose to utilize, right? So long story short, I sent in everything I was supposed to send in. Everybody was like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Maybe if we got a grant and all this other craziness. Here's the thing. People like to try to play games when they realize that you're smarter than they thought you were, and the games began immediately. Like, we were locked out of our emails. Pretty much everything that I needed in writing, he has locked down, and he won't let me in. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. It got kind of crazy because, like, even on my own computer, I can't log into certain stuff because of how he has his system set up through the company. Like, you have to log in through like Outlook and all that from your browser, and then you're downloading these files to your computer, but they're still downloading to like his server, and they're never really on your computer, but you don't know that until they block it. It's crazy. So went through all of that. Luckily, I have my video recordings. Luckily, I have my transcripts. I have all the team meeting transcripts. I have everything. And I really didn't want to get here. Like, I really didn't want to get to this place where I feel like now we have to go through this that we didn't have to go through. Because again, you could have put your 30 days in. Because I asked you several times, like, are you not okay with my recommendations? Because if you're not okay with my recommendations, that's okay. But I'm not willing to move forward with certain stuff if you don't follow these recommendations. And you can, read between the lines, do what you must with that. But like, I'm not willing to do anything that is going to cause me or your company or the people at your company that you have me running over top of in danger. Like, that's common sense. I'm not putting you in danger. Well, this person said this and this person said that. Truth of the matter is, them people don't care nothing about you, my man. But it's kind of hard to get people to understand that. And I don't know why it's so hard, but it's hard. It's hard to get people who you're trying to help to get the help. It's weird. So I'm like, cool. So I waited for them not to pay me. I got paid, right? And right after I got paid, it said, hey, this will be your last payment. We no longer need your services. Again, in breach of contract, because you're supposed to give me a 30-day notice, and then mind you, you're looking at everything that happened. You're upset because I said, hey, This is not okay. Can we please put a boundary here? Pretty much, can we please have a standard? Like, I've asked you more than one time, and you're not, you know, hearing me. Like, and I don't want us to have any, differences about something that is so simple. So let's come to a common ground, as any professional would want to do. That's not how that was taken. I really feel like everything I put in that infrastructure report, of course, I cannot share that with you publicly. Um, Probably gave them the wake up call that they needed, respectfully, because the vision is one thing. And I want everybody to listen to me when I say this, especially my small business owners and big business owner, any business owner. The vision and mission, cool. Those are the foundation of your company, right? But what makes your machine work is the operator. If you are not okay with the current operator of the machine that you hired, you need to properly, okay, do what you have to do to get out of one situation before you're into the next, because you're gonna muddy your own waters, and you don't have to. Like, and I'm speaking on behalf of consultants. I know I can't speak for everybody, but I would say, as a consultant, the rule of thumb is, hey, I can help you as much as you allow me to. Once you show me I can't help you, or you have a completely different agenda than what you originally sold me on when I walked in the door, like, mind you, I have notebooks, like notebooks full of dreams and programs, and what are we going to call this, and what are we going to trademark that, and you out here going in a different direction. Like, it's only a matter of time before I just sit back and scratch my head like, well, what is going on? What is going on? So from there, you guys, it's like mad crazy. Hold on, that's my son. This is live, so forgive me. Y'all know I'm real. He's supposed to be here till 5. I thought I had time. All right, y'all, I'm back. So, but yeah, so from there, long story short, like I said, I've said that a million times. But long story short, I decided, like, I was just gonna wait it out. I was just gonna, see what the vibes was. They ain't passed the VAP check. Let me just say that. They did not pass the VAP check. The things we began to hear are horrible. The slander, she trying to do this to me, she trying to do that to me, all of that. I was just like, yeah, no. So unfortunately, like I said, I have to do the hard things. But I don't have any regrets. I feel like I did my job. Like I said, my work speaks for itself. No matter where I go, you're going to always see the fruit, especially because I'm taking Jesus everywhere I go. Like, I'm at this place praying. We're praying before those celebrity events y'all saw. We are praying before meetings. In meetings, we're praying with each other as we go in and out of town to meet up with Mr. Wallow, and we're from here to Philly and here from Baltimore and here. Like, this was never like, oh, we on. This was work. You know what I'm saying? It will always be work for me. Like, I'm always going to do the work. Like, I'm never going to be, starstruck or anything. Cause, like, again, this industry that you guys get to see me working, like, it's not what you think. These are regular people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, they're celebrities, they have fame, they got all this money and all this stuff, but, like, they're still individuals who have their own individual problems, their own lifestyles. Sometimes to be a celebrity can be even overwhelming. Like, I've had several meetings with several people, and they're just like, D, you get to do the comms and the organizing and the team meetings and the running behind the scenes. I have to be the face. And sometimes being the face is really hard when baby, I got to keep up with whatever it is that you expect of me, even if those expectations outweigh who I feel like I am. So, but yeah, like I said, got fired because I did the right thing, because I said the right things, because I stood up for people, because I was not willing to be a doormat. And, I probably was probably one of the first. I'm gonna be honest. Like the people who are not there because they either was like, oh nah, or he was like, oh nah, point blank, straight up. Like respectfully, the company is amazing. They have very great potential, but to continuously move like they were moving, we weren't gonna work no way. So I guess you can say it was like God. Cause again, I'm telling you, I had just had a conversation with Shorty Girl and I was like, she's like, well, what you gonna do? Whatever God tell me, like I'm here. Like I said, I didn't see the red flags at first. None of us do. But the moment I got into this situation where it was, because mind you, like the last person left, they didn't go through what I'm going through. They left, from my understanding. So it's like, oh, okay, that's their personal business. That has nothing to do with me. Again, I'm here to work. I ain't here to figure out who with who doing what. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just here to do my job. I'm going back to the crib with the kids and my husband. I don't fool around. To know me is to know. Like, ain't a whole lot of access over here. It's straight homebodies. You hear how quiet my house is. My kids is upstairs with their daddy. Like we chilling. They in their rooms. They looking at TV. He looking at TV. You hear my son just walk in from basketball. It's not a whole lot of chaos over here until I stepped outside of my comfort zone, and that I feel like we gotta stop telling people that. That's one point in this recap that I want to point out. Like, let's stop telling people to get out their comfort zone, because like sometimes the comfort zone is safe. Like sometimes the comfort zone ain't got nothing to do with the enemy, ain't got nothing to do with the devil. It's the fortress that we have built, and we need to stay there. Being honest, let's maybe stop isn't the right word because y'all know y'all get offended easily, but maybe let's not apply the same principles to every single person. Let's say that, right? Okay. That was a lot, right? I'm sorry. That took a lot of our time. But again, it's a recap, so this is probably going to be one of the longest videos we've done in a while. So yeah, got fired for doing the right thing, turned in the infrastructure report, before I was even all the way out. I had the hateration starting because it was like D's good at this, D's good at that. I don't want you to be mad at me because I am proficient at something. Like that's weird, but people are, and I already got like the life where people be trying to figure out like what's she doing, who she is. I really don't care what you think. You're not God. You'll have a heaven and hell to put me in. I'm good. I'm good. Like I could co-mingle, I can be cordial, but I'm definitely not looking for friends. I'm going to 40 years old, bro. Like I can interact with anyone, but I really guard my peace and protect my heart. I love to organize and curate these things that are very helpful for the community. But like past that, I'm normally going to probably stay out the way because like I don't want to put myself in a position where we got to tussle. And I feel like I made the mistake of believing in something a little bit too much. And it did hurt my feelings a little bit when it turned out to be not, what it was portrayed as, because I'm one of them people that's like, oh, I believe in you. And when I say that, I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, it's people on the team that was there that we still rocking. I'm still helping. Like we are locked for life, so again, no regrets. But like done dirty, yes. Horrible. And I would have never expected it. It made me lose a lot of respect. But oh well, like life goes on. God's still good. Can't cry about it. Just gotta go back and do what I needed to be doing in the first place. Evidently it was a season that I needed to be a part of. Shout out to 19 Keys, shout out to Styles P, shout out to Wallow, all the people I got to meet. Lil Russell was mad dope. He pulled up in the Uber. The guy's amazing. Um, these were great things. There's a young lady out there. If she ever gets to watch this, I think she's really awesome. Her name is Jasmine. Um, Clock it. Super dope. Sad we didn't get to work as much as I would have liked to because of the environment we were in that was trying to turn us against each other. But I think you're awesome, and I'm happy you got out when you did. Like, I see you working, and salute to you, my girl, for real. Like, you, for sure. Um, what's next? Save the best for last. My house. Whew. Y'all know that battle been battling. But the house, my grandma and them, and they land craziness, just real estate in general. That's probably the most, other than my child and the stuff we've been through, with her emotions and stuff, just kind of figuring herself out, going through regular life stuff. I think the house is the hardest one. Like, fighting for your home is like, bro, it's ghetto. It's and for those of you politically correct people, we do know that ghetto is a place, so calm down. But I feel like the colloquialism, very ghetto, very not demure. Court case after court case. I still owe this lawyer money right now. Like, shout out to my attorney. He like, I'm gonna let you breathe a little bit, because but we won. We won. Man, I'll start by saying this. Always fight for what you believe in, especially when you know the truth. Like, especially when you know the truth. Because, like, I know for a fact that when I bought this home that I live in, that y'all see me recording from right now, I bought it with the purest intention of making sure that my children could have something when I'm gone. It's not the first piece of property I bought and flipped, but this house in my old neighborhood where my husband used to run around, where his father passed, it was a place of like great, great memories. And it was also a place of like growth and development. And it was also like hearing people say, like, oh, they're going to just turn our neighborhood into like blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. Gentrification and all the things. It's so many moving parts in that statement. So I was like, let's be a part of buying like our own block. And we did. We bought a house and we did our best. I plan to buy more, God willing, on the same block if possible. Um Granddaddy Jones, I told him I want your 3 lots if it ever come down to it. So I'm not sure what they doing to me, y'all. Hold on. There you go. So, where do I start? I made the original video way back when it got real, like when they showed up to the court, like, oh, we want full possession. Hold on, what is wrong? Who are y'all? What is going on? Like, full possession mean like I want their house today, for those of you who don't know. And then I had people like emailing me, calling me. They were like, yeah, it's a movie about that out here. I'm like, well, send me the movie. Girl, we watched the movie, and it's people out here that really do this. They try to force you into an eviction that's not a real eviction. And sometimes the judge don't know no better, because the two courthouses, title court and eviction leasing court, don't speak. Please, for the love of God, let's get somebody in there to figure that political situation out, because it's not working for the American people. Please, because I'm an advocate now because of it. Like, I call your delegate. They don't answer the phone. They don't. Where can your city council do that? That's not their. Baby, I felt like all my life I had to fight in this situation. I can't even lie to y'all. Like, I was sitting there, like, how you see the meme and like the math problems are circling the people's head. Like, baby, the truth of the matter is I was stunned that these people could walk into a courthouse, utilize a form that they know they're not supposed to use, push it through because they know The weakness of the courthouse is y'all don't communicate. You go to circuit court, they say, "Oh, we don't talk to them." You go to general district, "Oh, we don't talk to circuit." And it's like, go upstairs, go downstairs, go upstairs, go downstairs, go. Listen, listen, fix it, please, for the love of God. Go see about that situation, because how many people don't win? I won, thank God, but how many people get pulled into a courthouse in a frenzy, frantic, filled with anxiety? They may be dealing with something totally outside of, whatever with their house, already in one tragedy, and you're going to pull me into another it's off of a technicality? No. 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 I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot, y'all. I cried on December 12th when they handed me that agreement. It was like, well, he gonna sign and we gonna dismiss it again, because y'all know I done got these dismissals back to back to back to back to back, and it been nobody but God. Like, let's anchor there. The way baby Jesus be saving my life, my family's life, my children's life, my husband's life, my parents' life, my friend, like, bruh, when I should have been lost my mind and crashed out, God gave me grace. God gave me mercy. God gave me peace that surpassed my own understanding, because I don't know how I was still standing. I still don't know. I still don't know. Like, I still don't know how. It's a whole nother segment that I'm going to do about how the grown-ups in my life right now decided to do horrible things that they didn't have to do. But I'm just going to consider them in the trouble category. When people like, who is it? I'm like, some troubled young man that clearly must be going through a lot, that doesn't have enough of his own stuff to worry about to be trying to put me through this, because me and my husband have the house in our business name. Like, it's a throwaway entity. It's for property only, so you weren't gonna get much. But then when you zoom out, because I know the things that I know, this is gentrification. If you read the books, if you look at the formula, it's caused the people who are the working class, myself, to end up in these weird situations somehow, and you lose your house, and we get it. It's a man on this block that he condemned his own house. The lady pretty much camped out at the store for as long as she could before they took her to jail. You didn't kick me out my house, condemned it, and now you move somebody else into it, and it's being allowed. Like, I'm not gonna get on my soapboxes. Not today, maybe tomorrow, because this is just supposed to be a recap. But these are the recaps. This. I'm breathing again, because when I think about it, it just pisses me off, y'all. It pisses me off that I had to go through this. Like, I had to go to court, look like I'm not paying my bills when I've never missed a mortgage payment in my life. House almost paid off. House almost paid off. And you just gonna take it? I will walk around here with nothing but lint in my pocket to save this home. And I did. On the 12th, I gave all the money that was asked of me, except for an extra $10,000 that he asked for the night before court, after he know all the banks was closed. I told my lawyer, absolutely not. At this point, me and the lawyer is deliberating. We're like, yo, listen, like, we're not going into court tomorrow without a plan. Like, what we gonna do? How we gonna do it? And I'm trying not to have a daggone panic attack, because I'm like, bro, already don't owe this man no money. Like, let's anchor there. Don't owe you nothing. You done went back to all these different years talking about, oh, well, I don't think I got that payment. I don't think I got who are you? They still have never identified who the people are. All they know is there was some type of an assignment because it's legal. It's legal to assign a mortgage loan. They do it in the bank as well as in private finance. It's nothing out of an ordinary for an assignment to happen as long as it does not say you cannot assign this contract. However, that's not even why I'm more so upset. I'm more upset because this is able to be done to people and nobody's checking on them. Like, I got all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm talking about codes and compliance showed up at my door. Like, what, y'all got people over there too? Like, everybody's a part of the scam? Because I don't understand. Like, why are these people involved? What? I still don't have answers. I got my house. Thank God. To God be the glory. But I don't have answers to a lot of the questions that have had to take place. Like, all the things that had to take place, like, made me have questions, and I still don't have answers for those. I'm just kind of like, Go to court. She owe you, dismissed. Go to court. She owe you, dismissed. Go to court. She owe you, dismissed. Because she don't. Ledger, payment, bank statement. I don't want to spend no money. I told you I used to do taxes for years, baby. I count to the cent. Do you hear me? I budget to the cent. I'm like that granddad that always say he ain't got no money, but he drive a BMW off the lot, baby. I don't got it. I don't. I don't got it. I don't got it. Bills is paid, but I ain't got it. I don't have it. That's me. I teach financial literacy for a reason because I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to live in a car with my mom. I know what it's like to not be approved for resources because you make $1 over. I know what that's like. So when I tell y'all I handle my business for these kids, flabbergasted is an understatement to go through something like this. This year has been like, wow. You know, like, whoa. You know, never could imagine being fired. Luckily, I have not missed, anything. I'm not homeless. Thank God, right? I'm not hungry. Always been off. Jesus made me that way, but I'm okay. But can you imagine somebody who's not in the situation like me and my husband? Somebody who's not an entrepreneur, somebody who don't know about saving, somebody who don't got Roth, somebody who don't have a 401k, somebody who don't know how to invest, somebody who ain't never flipped a home, somebody who ain't got money on the side, somebody who just haven't been taught the things I've been taught based off the experiences I have had. They would be homeless for Christmas. And won't nobody coming to help them because I'm still waiting on phone calls. Still waiting on emails to be returned. Still. I was calling people in April. Still no response. Leaving voicemails. Still no response. Talking to the clerks. They know me by like, hey, Don Quita, how you doing? They still ain't calling you yet? I sent it over. And it got so bad at one point I called the governor's office like, where is the people? Like, I know some of y'all got to see some. I know y'all don't all do the same thing and y'all fight different situations in different little, pockets. But listen, you ain't seen them in the lunch hall or nothing. You not roaming the street, not at the political events. Y'all all circle the same circles. Where are the people? And I used to be like gung-ho, like, pull up on them. They're not there. They are not in those offices, just like they're not answering them phones. I'm sorry. I call a spade a spade. Somebody say, why don't you go to city council? They have a lot on their plate. They have a lot on their plate. That's all I'll say. They cleaned up a lot of messes that they did not cause. And I pray for them often. It's not their fault. You know, it's not their fault. Because these things were happening before they ever took office. Let's anchor there. You know, truth of the matter is, these people that are doing these things, they've been allowed to do these things, and then they meet people like me, who they think they're gonna run through the ringer. Like, this man thought he was gonna out-court me. He thought he was gonna out-money me. He thought he was gonna out-lawyer me. And I still couldn't tell you why. He just woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna get that house. I want it back. It was never his. He didn't even have proof of, when I tell you he didn't even have proof of purchase, if I didn't have my proof of purchase, he would have won. Can you imagine an old granny? Well, I don't know where my papers at, baby. She hit immediately. She hit. And they don't care. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes. They do not care, because they don't know how, because they don't quite understand what's happening. They're just doing their jobs. They're not, they're going with the flow. And I'm asking that we stop. You get what I'm saying? Like, can we stop going with the flow? Can we please do something different in 2026? This is, I'm coming, I'm landing my plane, as my friend says. I'm landing my plane here. Let's do something different in 2026. If you know what you did in 2025 did not work for anybody other than yourself, come here. Let's try something else. Okay? Because, like, see, going through these two things that I went through, like three when I include my grandmother, like, I am looking at my grandmother. Just let me back up. And I'm watching her have to relive a tragedy, a trauma, a triggering event publicly that caused her family to be divided anyway. Let's start there. And that trauma has been like, man, it's been turned into a movie, but certain people have been kept out of it. I don't know whether or not it was knowingly or unknowingly. You have family members who call a spade a spade. They shady, you know what I'm saying? And some people, they just born that way, and it ain't nothing you can do to change it, you know? And again, like, for those of you who don't know, my grandmother was a baby when these things were going on with her mom, with her dad, with her grandparents. She was a child. She wasn't even a teenager yet. And a lot of the say-so that she needed to have to, you know, make any type of real power move, chess play, she wasn't going to have it as a minor. The things that her father and her aunties and all the people had left to her, the deeds that should have been left to next to Ken, Uncle Milton, all that stuff was erased. Do not get me started on the fact that y'all are recreating systems that were already in place. Y'all are telling people where addresses were that were already there. Y'all are re-giving out information that was hidden on purpose, not by a mistake. And we're making movies out of it. We're making podcasts. We're having General Assembly meetings. And these people's kids is hurting. And y'all have no idea because you never checked. You've got to do a better job at considering everybody in the conversation that you're going to have. It took me since October to have this conversation today because I knew I know that once it get out, everybody ain't gonna like it. I was considerate of not using names, of not giving you addresses and phone numbers and business names. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's a mystery. But come on, 50 years of trauma, 50 years of being told, that ain't true. Some people ain't had nothing up there about seeing you. 50 years plus. Had to add the plus. 50 plus years. And then all of a sudden, it's a good story. And people get to resign. And other people get to play the face and be fake sorry. And other people who look like me get to go along and get along. And then there's some people, and we totally understand that you're just doing your job. But shame on the people who know better. Because truth of the matter is, if it was you, I think you'll handle it differently. If it was your grandmama, y'all be ready to fight. Y'all lucky I'm bringing her to meetings. Hell. That's it. Because this year, like I said, it's been a year. It's been a year, and I'm grateful for every round. Because every round we came out swinging. Today is the last Sunday of 2026. Wednesday is New Year's Eve. Thursday is January 1st, 2026. And I'm telling you, 2025, you think you won. But we ain't done. We ain't finished yet. This is only just the beginning. Like it's just the beginning. And this was by far the best awakening that anybody could get. From the administration that we currently have that we got to deal with over the next 3 years. Shout out to us. We made it through year one. Hello. To the economy being where it is. To any tragedies, tribulations, trials that you and your family went through. Sorry. Y'all know this live. I ain't no editing. Truth of the matter is we all made it. God willing, I'll see y'all on the other side. But if I don't, hang in there. We got this. We're going to keep on pushing. And we're going to keep doing what we do. And unfortunately, I'm out of retirement. So now I got work to do. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Love y'all.